But before we go, here are 4 questions here, which relates to what we've done last week. So can you please type your answer in the chat box by putting the number 1, 2, 3, 4 before it, and you will have 2 minutes to do it. Is that okay? Okay, I'm waiting to say any amazing answers in the chat box. So question number 1, how would you say thank you and goodbye in Chinese? So those are 2 words. Question number 2 is how do you say 88 RMB? So it's not 88 pounds, it's 88 RMB. Remember to think about how do you say 88 and how do you say the Chinese currency. You can use either one. There are 2, a formal one and an informal one. You can use either one. Number 3, you ask for price in Chinese. And the last one, the golden sentence, the important sentence to ask for a cheaper or for a better offer in Chinese. Excellent. Number 1, how do you say thanks and goodbye? Good job, George and Millie and Musty. 88元. Good job, Millie. We've got 1 minute left. Well done, Georgie. Yes, it's 88元. Question number 3 and number 4 can be a bit tricky because we work a little bit more on number 3, but a little bit less on number 4. Well done, Millie. 这个多少钱 not 多少钱 okay. 多少钱 Okay. Well done, Millie. Did you review a lot? Good job. 太贵了，太贵了。So the answers to them are already in the chat box. For number 1, lots of you have figured out. Thank you is 谢谢. Goodbye is 再见. 再见, falling tones. Number 2, 88 RMB. 88 is 88元. Or the other way to say it is 88块. You will hear people say 88块 more often than 88元. And number 3, how do we ask for price? 多少钱? Or you can use the this word, 这个. Last one, how do we bargain? 太贵了, 太贵了. Claim it is to be too expensive is a good way. Okay. Frequently used phrases. I will say 好了吗 a lot. I'll say 对不对? I'll ask 有问题吗 very often. 有问题吗 very often. Okay. So let's review the sounds a bit. We will skip the black ones. I'll just repeat the amber ones to you. So if you can, please follow me by focusing on how you, whether you spread or round the lips, or how you control the airflow. Block it, type it, or let it go. So the first row is 鸡, qi, xi. So you will see that my lips are quite spreaded. The second row is still spreaded. 滋, si, si. The last one is the only one that round the lips. 知, chi, shi, and ri. Okay. For those vowels, the black ones are quite simple, but we will do it. This one is or, remember, bug, pull your tongue to the back of your mouth. Next one, e, and we do this one with e is e. Okay, that is the one that's not connected to any English sounds. So I will say this is e, and around your lips you make ü. Okay, u exists in English, so no more on it. Pay attention to tones. Here are some funny words. So we would say characters. Each symbol is a character. Each graph is a character. Often Chinese words contain 2 to 3 to 4 characters. The 4 ones are like slangs or like fixed words, and they often represent certain meanings. So for example, let's try to pronounce these couple of ones. The first one, 三三两两，三三两两。Next one, 七七八八，七七八八。Those are the number ones, right? Next one, follow me. Think about how would you pronounce it. 哭哭啼啼。Next one, 结结巴巴。Next one, 家家户户。Next one, 磕磕碰碰。浑浑噩噩。So pay attention to it. It's not Pull your tongue back towards your throat a bit. Next one, 急急忙忙。Next one, 凄凄爱爱。Last one, 马马虎虎。马马虎虎。Mama huhu means not very good, but also not very bad. So often, if you're asked by people like, how is your day? Some people will say, mama huhu. If you're asked, how is your exam? You didn't get full score and you didn't pass. So we would say mama huhu. Okay, mama huhu is feel like average. Okay, another couple of sounds. Okay, I'll ask you to tell me what does it mean. What does it mean? The first one, number A. The first one is 巧克力. 巧克力. What do you think 巧克力 means? Can you put that in the chat box? There are 5 graphs on the top for you to think about it. Well done, Lawrence. 巧克力 is chocolate. Okay, the second one is 沙发. 沙发. What do you think 沙发 is? Good job. 沙发 is sofa. Next one is 香槟. What do you think 香槟 is? 香槟. Champagne. Good job. Next one is 麦克风. 麦克风. What is 麦克风? Microphone. Well done, Lawrence. Last one. 汉堡. 汉堡. When I pronounce it, pay attention to the tones I pronounce it. 汉堡. What is 汉堡? Burger. Well done, William Lawrence. Okay, so we can, if you can read after me, pay attention to the tones and how to spell it. Okay, first one, chocolate, 巧克力. Sofa, 沙发. Champagne, 香槟. Microphone, 麦克风. Hamburger, 汉堡. So lots of Chinese words, especially those things relating to modern life or relating to things imported from outside countries, are translated into Chinese by just, we call it sound translation. So we record the pronunciation with the Chinese letters, not Chinese letters, Chinese phonetic systems. Okay. Okay, numbers 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Can you show me how do you do 1 to 10 together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically, you know 1 to 10, you know 1 to 99, right? And we checked on the Chinese days. Checked on Chinese days. So how do you say 1st of October in Mandarin? Which one do you think is the right answer? You need a bit of reading skill. So which one do you think is the answer? Can you put the answer in the chat box? So this one is day. This one is month. And we know 19 is 1. Across is 10. So which one do you think is 1st of October in Chinese, in Mandarin Chinese? No, Minnie, no, George, it's not A. It's not A. Remember, we put month first or days first in Mandarin Chinese. In English, you'll say the days from day, month to year. But in Chinese, we'll do it in a completely reversed way. We say year, month, and then day. Well done, Georgie. It's the 10月1日. Okay, so literally we are saying October the 1st. October the 1st. Okay, we talked about Chinese currency, formal way yuan, informal way. So we will use quite more often. And the important sentence, 太贵了, 太贵了. Okay, how do we order food? How do we order food? The first one is, which of these four answers, four English names, do you think is the name of this dish? Is it, look at it, there are like rice noodles, shallots in it. I've never had it I've never had it until I moved to Beijing, to be honest. I've never had it in my hometown. So, Minnie, Musty, did you just put the answer here? So is it Dragon Dance or Hungry Panda or Ant Clam Tree or 5 Japanese? Wow, we do hate Japanese, we want to eat them. Oh my God. Yeah, that's something you may need to know. China versus Japan is almost like UK but England versus France. But we still like Japanese animations and the movies and the video games. Okay, which one do you think is the answer? Nini say, excellent. Wow, I'm surprised you actually know it. Yeah, we think. So if you take a look at the picture closer, there are rice noodles on some mens there. So we are thinking, we are like calling those mens the ants and the rice noodles the tree. When I first read it in the Chinese menu, I was really surprised. Are we going to eat ants? No, we don't. Okay. We've done these 4 words, 3 of these 4 words. 这, which means this. 那, which means that. And 个 is a measure word. So this one or this should be 这个. And that one or that, it should be 那个. What's the word would like to? 要. So that's the key word you need to know today. 要. Key sentence, really important sentence. 我, which means I or me. 要, would like to. 吃, eat. 这个, this one, this thing. So can you try repeat with me? Would like to is 要. Eat is 吃. This one is 这个. So we can literally just point at the menu saying 我要吃这个, even though I may not understand what are the ingredients. That's how I tried the previous dish when I first met it on the menu. So question, how would you say I don't want this? Let's do this question. How would you say I don't want to eat this in Mandarin? Can you put the answer in the chat box, please? I don't. So remember what's the negation word? What's the negation word? 我不要吃这个. Well done. Well done, maybe. How do you say I don't want to have that? Then I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that. 我不要吃那个. Well done, Millie and Musty. 很好. Okay, so that's the key sentences of today. I'd like to have it. After me, 我要吃这个. I would not like to have it. 我不要吃这个. Okay, good job. So if you are offered with Peking roast duck, we would say, you can say 我要吃这个，我要吃这个. Oh, here is the other thing. In China, you will hear people speak English. So Chinese people would prefer to express their intending to do something by saying I want to do something. So that's why I put the translation here as want to, but I think 我要 here 要 is more expressing the meaning of I would like to do something. I intend to do this thing. Okay, but in China, if you speak English to them, lots of beginner or intermediate English learners will use I want to do something a lot. I kind of feel that's a little bit too straightforward now. Okay, so if you are offered with this, what are these? Those are the chicken feet. Those are the chicken feet. Probably might be the last thing you want to eat in the world, but do try a bit, okay? I thought that haggis is the last thing I would like to try in the UK, but I did try it, and I didn't hate it. And so I would think, I thought that I would not like fish and chips, but in the year I lived in UK, after the 2 years in UK, I actually missed fish and chips a lot in China. So even you could say at a first impression, 我不要吃那个. I would not like to eat that. 我不要吃那个, or I don't want to. I don't intend to have that. But do try a bit. Okay. You may heard of how crazy Chinese people are about bubble teas. So literally, lots of Chinese, when they saw a bubble tea shop, the first impression, the first sentence they are that bursting out are 我要喝那个, 我要喝那个. So question, what is 喝 mean? What is the 喝 here? What is her? Yeah, excellent, to drink. Okay, so we use her to express drink tea, drink alcohol, drink soup, anything that we drink with spoon. Okay, soup is her, not eat. Remember that. Medicines can be like her medicine or eat medicine. That's okay. It depends on where you're from or where you're going to in China. I always said we her medicines because we have medicines with water, but I met people who said 吃 medicine, eat medicine, even though we all have medicine with water. Okay, if you don't want to have, it is 我不要喝这个，我不要喝这个. Okay, so here's the question. How do you ask, what do you want to eat in Mandarin? How do you ask, what do you want to eat in Mandarin? If I tell you what in Chinese is 什么, how do you ask, what would you want to eat? I'll put the important sentence here. What would you want to eat? How would you ask the question? The other one you need to know is this one. How do you say, what would you want to eat? 你要吃什么? Well done, Millie. Okay, question. How do you say, what would you want to drink? How do you say, what would you want? What would you like to drink? Well done, Murphy. 你要喝什么? Well done, Millie. 你要喝什么? Excellent. So that's a universal rule in Chinese. When we ask questions, we just replace the part with the question word. So the question word of today is 什么? 什么, which means what. So what would you like to eat? 你要吃什么? What would you like to drink? 你要喝什么? 你要喝什么? Okay, currently 有问题吗？有问题吗？If yes 有 then put forward your question. If no, can you put in 没有？没有。Thank you, Mary. 谢谢 Musty. 谢谢 Lawrence. 没有，很好。Okay, so answer to 你要吃什么？你要吃什么？ I listed a couple of selections here. Or you can say 我要吃面包，我要吃苹果，我要吃香蕉，我要吃鸡蛋，我要吃鸡蛋。So those words, if you can after me, bread, 面包 apple, 苹果 banana, 香蕉 egg, 鸡蛋 Okay, question here. If you are asked by the hotel staff, what would you like to have for breakfast? What would be your answer? Please, can you type the answer to the chat box? I would say what would be your answer? 1 minute. Lawrence 要吃鸡蛋，很好。Lily 要吃鸡蛋，谢谢，很好。Excellent. Okay, 1 minute is done. Okay, next question. If you're asked about the staff, if you're asked about by the staff in the hotel, 你要喝什么？你要喝什么？ So I list a couple of selections here. Coffee, 咖啡 tea, 茶 water, 水 or in the sentence you can just say 水 alcohol, 酒 or 酒 Okay, so if you're asked by the staff, what would you like to drink? What would be your answer? So 1 minute to think about it and put your answer in the chat box. I would say 我要喝茶，我要喝咖啡 ，Mossy 我要喝酒。Okay, Lawrence 我要喝水。Excellent, thank you. Good job, good job. We will come back to this question later. What question? Good job, Dao. 我要喝茶。Okay, so if you've done that, think about this question. What questions will the waiter or waitress ask if you're in a Western restaurant? If you're like in the UK, what is the first sentence asked by the staff in the restaurant? And what would you think would be the first question asked by a staff in a Chinese restaurant? That's a quite important question. Yeah, so what question number 1, what question do you think the British staff will ask if you're in a Western restaurant? The Western restaurant, they ask you, what would you like to drink first? Yes, that's what I found out. Well, how many guests are there before seating? Well done, Musty. Yes, that's universal. Like when you walk into the restaurant, both countries staff will ask you how many of you are going to stay with us today. But like Millie said, in the Western restaurant, they often ask you what would you like to drink first. But in the Chinese restaurant, they ask you what would you like to eat first. So after you look at the menu and decided what dishes you would like to have, when you finish ordering the food, and then we'll ask you, then what would you like to drink? So it's quite funny. That's something I found quite different between UK and China. But in China, they ask your choices about food and then about your choices about drink. So you don't have much time. You got time to think, but you will not have proper drinks except hot water. Well, you're thinking about what you're going to have. Okay. Question. If I tell you this one, 去, this is actually yu here. So for those hard to pronounce sounds, if I let you use after, it's actually yu. So 去, if I tell you 去 is to go to, how do you say I would like to go to, let's say, Hong Kong in Chinese? How would you say I would like to go to Hong Kong in Chinese? Can you put your answer in the chat box, please? Well done, Musty. 我要去 Hong Kong. Well done. Good job. Okay. So question here. 我要去香港. 很好 Millie. 我要去 Hong Kong. Good job, Georgie. 很好. So if you can and allowed, where would you want to go? Where would you like to go for a visit? Example, I would say 我要去 if I'm allowed, if there isn't such a pandemic, 我要去广州. My answer would be 我要去广州 because Guangzhou is the place with lots of delicious food. What would you say? Must, you said 我要去深圳. Good job. Lawrence said 我要去the Great Wall. 很好. Bao said 我要去南京. 很好. Millie said 我要去西安. 很好. Okay, so you can use this to say that you'd like to go to a city, a country, or a street, or a number, a house, a specific address. Okay, so that's the other important sentence of today. Okay, there are some words. I'll just read it for you, give you a brief idea about foods in Chinese are chicken, 鸡肉, beef, 牛肉, pork, 猪肉, mutton, 羊肉, fish, 鱼. You can actually say 鱼肉, 鱼肉. So question, what is 肉 here? What is the 肉 here? Well done, Norris. Meat, meat. Good job, Mary. So 肉 is meat. So how do you say I eat meat? How do you say I eat meat? How do you say I eat meat? Well done, Millie. 我吃肉. 我吃肉. I eat meat. So if you are vegetarian, you can say I do not eat meat. I do not eat meat. So to tell people all the stuff you are a vegetarian, you can say 我不吃肉. 我不吃肉. Okay, important sentence. 我不吃肉. Okay. How about like you wouldn't like anything spicy? So spicy here is 辣. So 不要辣 is no spicy food. No spicy food. I wouldn't like spicy food. Question. How do you say I'd like something spicy? I'd like peppers or chilies in the food. So often the staff will ask you, would you like some chili in? Because you can choose to have chili in or not. So if you're asked, would you like chilies in? And you'd like some chilies in, how would you say? Good job, Millie. 我要辣. 我要辣. 很好. Okay. We've done that question. Some other foods for in Chinese: rice, 米饭, noodles, 面, soup, 汤, dumpling, 水饺. Pay attention, the soup, 汤 here in China are a little bit different from the soup in the UK. I'll illustrate more on it later. And pay attention to the tone. So there is a quite popular song made on a song by three British young men from Bristol, and it starts from this. So they went to this dumpling shop and asking them, 我要吃睡觉，我要吃睡觉。睡觉 is sleep. What they really want is actually 我要吃水饺，水饺。Tones are important. Low tones 我要吃水饺。Or is 睡觉 falling harsh tones. 睡觉 is to sleep. Okay, so when you speak, pay a bit attention to tones. Last one, yeah, I think this is the last, the most important word. 干杯，干杯. So if you toast or at the beginning of or the Chinese would like to let's go for a toast. So they would be say 干杯，干杯 literally means drink up all the liquid in the glass. Okay, you don't have to, but you do say it. 干杯，干杯. Okay, question. Quick question. How do you say I'd like to have meat? What do you think a child who loves meat, and I don't know why, but children in China love meat, they hate vegetables. I don't know if it is universal or not. So if the child said that I'd like to have meat, what would the child say? I would like to eat meat. 我要吃肉. Good job, Musty. Good job. Okay. In the 我要吃肉. Good job, Millie. 我要吃肉. Well done, George. I'm happy with that. 很好. Well done, everyone. So this is a menu, a common menu in China. But lots of menu in China are having English translation next to it, but you may find them a little bit weird. The translation could be a bit weird to you. Let me enlarge it a little bit more. So what I'm asking you to do is give this menu a look, check out carefully. What do you think are the differences between a Chinese menu and the British menu? Can you say? If you can't, let me know in the chat box. We can't order utensils here. Good thing. No price. There should be price actually. There should be price. It's just for this one, I didn't put the prices on. Thank you, Georgie. So take a look. Where is the drinks? The drinks are in the last part of the menu where list meat comes first, and the utensils come next to it, and then vegetables, and then the staple food. So this is actually how we order. No, the cost of the price is not always a surprise. It should be there, but for this one that I found, it is meant for teaching, for learning language. So they don't put the prices on. There should be price right next to it. All of them, okay? All of them should be prices next to them. And because this one is specifically for language learning, they actually put the pinyin next to it. You can say the first one, sizzling beef with peppers and onions. In Chinese, it's 铁板牛肉. But in actual menu, there wouldn't be any pinyin here. Okay, so I take off the prices and instead put pinyin here. What I found out the difference is in the UK, often you are given a drink menu, and then you are given the main food menu, and then on it there wouldn't be a separate section of vegetables. When in China, the dishes, there are a separate section of different vegetables there. So Chinese people order, when Chinese people order food, they will definitely choose a veggie with the other meat. Okay, especially in the South, they actually look for the leaves at the end. So often we will order in this way: meat, vegetables, and rice or dumplings. Then the last one is drinks: water, beer, or tea. Okay. 有问题吗？有问题吗？有问题吗？Thank you. 很好。Okay. There's something you may need to know about eating in China. First thing is we use bowls and chopsticks and the spoons. Chopsticks, 筷子 spoons, 勺子 Second thing is instead of having bread or potatoes, in China we have rice, 米饭 or 粥 in the morning for breakfast, or 蛋炒饭 I eat fried rice. You find that quite common in the UK in restaurants, right? Yeah, we have that as well. And the zhou is often had for breakfast or dinner, or like the last meal of the day. And another quite common staple food is 面条, noodles. 面条. I strongly recommend you to try different types of noodles in China. They are amazing. 拉面 with beef or lamb, 炒面. So in English you say 粗面, 炒面, but the 炒面 there is a little bit different from here. And when we talk about Chinese food, so those are Chinese foods, we pay attention to the following 5 aspects: color, how does it look; flavor, how does it taste; how does it taste; shape, how does it look like; meaning, the meaning of the dish. Like, is there any good meanings behind the name of this dish? And the soup. So if you are visiting the especially south of China, we have soup a lot, but not in north of China. Not that often in North China. In South China, often you can start ordering soup like this, the one on the right first. So it's like for one person, and there will be some meat and some herbals in it. We strongly believe that those herbals are good for your health. So in different weather, different seasons, you should have different herbals. And so like those little rice there are supposed to be good for summers. So that's Chinese people's idea of soup. Is there is a British saying. There is a British friend who described Chinese soup as being salt water. I understand why he thinks like that now, but soup is quite important. So often we order food with a type of soup, especially in the South. Okay, but China is massive, so it has different varieties of food in different towns, cities, and the areas. And there are said to be 8 types of cuisines. So if I enlarge this picture, that's too big. And I circled it roughly. So in the yellow circle, in the North China, people prefer to have savory foods. In the West China, spicy food and meat. And in the Southwest China, It's the food there are famous for being too spicy. And in the coastal area on the south coast of China, they are famous for being unable to have anything spicy or too salty. So the food over there is quite light, and I believe British people would love it. And in the orange area, like places near to Shanghai, the east and the south part of China, people there have like sweet food. So when they cook, they put lots of sugar in. I can't believe how much sugar they actually put in. And so when people talk about hot pot, it's actually from southwest China. And the center of China, people there are also good at spicy food as well. So be prepared. Some famous Chinese dishes. Kung Pao chicken is Gong Bao Jiding. Scrambled egg with tomato is made of tomato and eggs. And Ma Po Doufu in Chinese is Ma Po Doufu. Okay, those are some famous dishes in China, and we like it a lot. But there are so many others. The other thing is Chinese people eat around a round table with sometimes with a glass wheel on the top of it. So if you'd like to have some dish, you can turn the wheel and make the dish appear in front of you, but don't turn when someone else is trying to get some food. And you need to pay attention. Often there is a certain order of where you should sit. Different places have different ideas, but there is a certain order. So if you are invited to a Chinese people's house, or if you are invited by Chinese to eat in a restaurant, my suggestion is stand there for a bit, wait until the host arrange a place for you. Don't sit down at the place you think is yours. Okay. Young people will be fine, but if you're going out with your boss, do pay attention to this a bit. Okay. And some other manners is when we have rice and with chopsticks, but it's definitely not recommended for you to put the chopsticks in the center of the rice, because that's a sign of the food for our past ancestors, to express our thought, our remembrance of them. We do this, put the chopsticks on the rice and put it in front of the photos. So it's like the food is for them. So that's not good to do it on the dining table. The other thing is, do not play with the chopsticks, especially do not tap it on the side of your bowl or the dishes. That is a sign of beggars. So like people who are begging for money, this is what they do, tapping the chopsticks on the edge of the bowl. So that is not allowed. Or when we were children, if we did this accidentally, we'll be told off. Sometimes grandparents will be like tap the chopsticks on our hands to make sure that we remember not to do it in the future. Okay, so that's all about Chinese eating in China under the proper manners. About further courses, so this is where you can find more Mandarin courses. You can go search these words, lifelong learning, Southampton. So you will be directed to the Lifelong Learning Center of University of Southampton. There are language courses. Click on it, there will be language stages or summer courses. And the Confucius Institute is planning to offer 2 courses since January. One of them is called Chinese Language and Culture. The other is Chinese Language and Calligraphy. So you're very welcome to check on it and register if you are interested in any of them. The language stages are like focusing on language only, while the 2 that's going to start in January are focusing on both language and culture, or language and calligraphy. Okay. I think we did this a bit. Okay. So think about these questions, self-assess yourself. If you got any question, put in the chat box. If not, that's all of today's session. Thank you very much.不客气. So got any question, let me know. Let me see, how do I put the host back to, well,不客气.
谢谢老师. Thanks a lot, guys. If you do have any other questions or anything you want to pop across to us, do just make sure you shoot us an email. Remember, on Friday, we've got our full training day where we're going to have Emily, one of our teachers who's been out in China for a couple of years, answering any questions that anyone has for teachers who have been out there over the last year. So that should be really, really good for you guys to catch up on. But yeah, if anyone has any further questions, do drop us an email and see you on Friday.
Bye-bye, well.
Bye-bye.